Hello, I'm Braden Berg. Vietnam Veterans Day was recently observed here in Missouri, and College of the Ozarks paid tribute with a service here on campus at the state's Vietnam Veterans Memorial. The Point's Thomas Miller was there.
It was a chance for veterans to come together, to be reminded that they and their fallen comrades are not forgotten.
All of us have feelings that are there. I can relate to what happened while I was in Vietnam like it was yesterday. You never forget death, and you never forget the friends that are alongside of you that didn't make it home.
And many have not forgotten that when they did come home from the Vietnam War, it was to anger and rejection from a nation tired of war and resentful of those who served in it.
You don't ever forget. You may forgive what went on, but you don't forget that.
This ceremony was designed to send a very different message of respect and gratitude for their service.
To those of you who served in Vietnam, I sincerely say to you once again, welcome home. Thank you for your service.
And it was a chance for veterans to receive healing for old wounds.
It hurts just as bad, but it also helps. Needs to be done every place.
Many veterans see this memorial not only as a symbol of respect for their service, but as a reminder for younger generations.
It's just so important that young people understand where their freedoms come from.
A lesson that, here, has not been forgotten. I'm Thomas Miller, reporting for The Point.
This week on The Point, we begin with a story of Bruce Heilman, a World War II veteran who is on a cross-country motorcycle tour to visit veterans memorials throughout the United States. One of his stops this week was C of O. The Point's Thomas Miller got to visit with him.
Bruce Heilman will tell you he likes adventure.
Adventure with a purpose. And I have a full purpose in 30 days of covering the whole country, talking about veterans, especially World War II veterans, because the numbers have dropped from 16 million to about 700,000.
He began his odyssey in Richmond, Virginia. It will take him to San Diego, with many stops along the way. He is on a mission to honor surviving World War II veterans and the families of those who didn't make it home from that war.
Just found out this week about one who died on Okinawa, and I was there, and I didn't know it till today. Freedom doesn't come free. It has to be earned.
He enlisted in the Marines at the age of 17 and found himself headed to the fighting at Okinawa.
Going in, 700 Marines were killed almost immediately, shot down by the Japanese first day. A lot of us perished there. We think of those who did as the real heroes, and we're proud to have served with them.
The military, he said, provided him with opportunity.
The military had everything to do with my accomplishments. I flunked out of high school, became president of a college and a university.
He has much in common with his longtime friend, President Jerry Davis, who hosted a patriotic tribute for him on campus.
You might ask the question, why would a 90-year-old man ride a motorcycle across the United States? Or maybe, how would they be able to do that?
Dr. Heilman says he uses his motorcycle as a draw to tell his story.
People come out to see a guy 90 years of age riding a motorcycle. Without the age of 90 and a motorcycle, who wants to come and hear Bruce Heilman tell anything? But they'll come to listen to my motorcycle, and then I'll tell them. See, it's a catch.
Dr. Heilman wants his ride to instill pride of country in future generations.
I believe that if they can hear me and others, and these young people respond out of pride for having served, belief in freedom, belief in country, and belief in God, they will say, I want to serve.
He is encouraged by the way people have received him on his journey.
What's here on this campus, the flags. I got up early this morning, see the flags flying with pride. It just made me feel good, because I've always had the spirit of evidence of appreciation for the military.
This year marks the 75th anniversary of the attacks on Pearl Harbor and America's entry into World War II. Bruce Heilman wants Americans to remember the sacrifices made. He'll be riding his Harley 6,000 miles, from one memorial to another, to remind them. I'm Thomas Miller, reporting from The Point.
Begin this week with our coverage of the 9/11 events on campus. College of the Ozarks honored the victims of the September 11th terrorist attacks, first by creating a 9/11 display of nearly 3,000 flags at the campus entrance. Then Monday, a ceremony at the Lest We Forget 9/11 Memorial brought hundreds of people, including local emergency personnel and first responders, to remember. The Point's Thomas Miller was there.
The September 11th attacks redefined how Americans see themselves and the world. Many vividly remember the shock of that day and how its aftermath changed their lives.
And I remember just being this little girl and watching a plane come and hit the second tower.
And we were just stunned. I mean, it was, unprecedented to have that kind of attack on American soil. And of course, everybody wondered what was going to happen. They wondered what the next step was.
And we were watching what was going on and just not believing what we were seeing. We just gathered among other students and faculty and staff watching this disaster unfold in front of our very eyes.
Every year, C of O stops to remember the events of 9/11.
If you look around you, you'll notice students of all ages, from kindergarten to grade school, high school, college, friends in the community.
Part of that remembrance is honoring those who died there. Students of all ages take part in the effort, placing flags outside the gates and participating in the flag-raising ceremony at the 9/11 Memorial as part of the college's goal to teach students the impact that day had on the nation. That's important now that many C of O students are too young to remember that day. For them, 9/11 is something they've only heard about.
And so in order to keep that memory alive, something I couldn't even fathom, we really just have to continually pursue it and continually focus on the topic because it's really important to remember that.
Many families of the fallen were there, including Julie Adams, whose brother Tommy Ratzlaff served in the War on Terror and lost his life in Afghanistan. She helped raise the memorial flag.
Events like this show that there are people that don't forget and are still humbled and honored to remember my brother's service and everyone's service.
Kevin DeSharoom, Tommy's best friend, thinks ceremonies like this are important for future generations.
It's incredible, and to see those little kids sitting up there and to have them involved in something like that, I think that's pretty awesome.
And those who do vividly remember 9/11 want students to learn about the hope and unity that came out of that day.
As Christians, when we look at our political situation, when we feel the vertigo of change, when we see social mores that have become so radically altered that we don't even recognize them anymore, we simply can't stop hoping.
Let's focus on the heroism of the responders. Let's focus on the way the nation came together, united as one. Let's focus on the positives that we can take from one of the most dreaded days in our history.
A message the college hopes will have meaning for all generations. I'm Thomas Miller, reporting from The Point.
Veterans of combat, for whom these observances have a special significance. The Point's Thomas Miller has some of their stories.
War. Something few Americans ever experience. Combat veterans remember the intensity.
I remember how kind of surreal feeling it is.
And there's so much to do within that mission that you're focused in doing the things that you need to do, and instinctively the guy behind you is backing you up.
That's a level of intensity that I'll never be able to experience again, no matter what I do.
Those who see battle know the hard cost of sacrifice. Sergeant Brian Cizik served in Iraq as an Army Ranger.
I remember standing up and talking, and the wall right next to me I was getting ricochets and shrapnel from the wall that was hitting me in the back of the head because bullets were hitting just to the either side of me.
Colonel James Schreffler and Captain Caleb Dunham served in Afghanistan as Apache helicopter pilots.
Flying the Apache in combat was kind of a culmination of everything we had worked for years. It's kind of a fulfillment of our tasking and our training and all that hard work culminated in that deployment.
Flying the Apache in combat requires great teamwork.
It's absolutely critical, absolutely essential that you have that teamwork. My mission over there as an Apache pilot, like I said, there's only 2 individuals in that aircraft. You've just got that teamwork, and it just meshes.
That teamwork follows them home.
You see somebody wearing, I served in Iraq, on their hat or bumper sticker, or you could even just be driving down the highway and see that, and there's a veteran, there's somebody that's got my back and I've got theirs.
And they also remember the ones who didn't come home.
Anytime you hear about a soldier or a Marine, airman, any of the branches, you hear about a military service member being killed in the line of duty, there's a little piece of your heart and your soul that dies along with them.
Veterans Day is a chance to remember that bond. It's a time to honor others.
Think about the legacy of all those veterans, those great individuals that went before me and inspired me to put on the uniform.
And for these veterans, gratitude is enough.
That we appreciate, when somebody comes up and shakes your hand and just says, thank you for your service.
The veterans aren't asking for anything, they're just answering the call.
I'm Thomas Miller, reporting from The Point.
Our next story takes us back to the Keeter Center. Every Christmas, some students spend their break working on campus. The Point's Thomas Miller spent time with student David Turley from Romania to get a closer look at Christmas away from home.
Memories of Christmas in Romania are some of David Turley's favorite memories.
Yeah, let me tell you about my Christmas home. It's like they have 3 days where we go caroling. Like, for example, in one winter, I remember in my house, 360 people came to my house, a big group of people caroling, and they come with trumpets and guitars and violins and accordions, if you know the big accordion. Man, it was amazing, man. Oh my goodness, let's go.
But this year, David will spend his Christmas season working at the College of the Ozarks Keeter Center. He stays in touch with home.
Oh, it's so good to see you, brother. How's going everything there?
Working far from home has taught him a lot. Family has new significance for David.
Family is the most important thing in your life. But now I just open my eyes and it's nothing more important than that.
For David, spending Christmas at C of O is a chance to grow closer to the people here.
I'm sure will be people on campus that will be in the same shoes like me, in the same boat, and we can change a little bit the atmosphere, together.
And it's a chance to grow closer to God.
I don't need some other things, through my life, and in my life I need peace and I need God. And He's the only one who can fill that, that empty place,
A Christmas spent in a far-off land, but a heart close to home. I'm Thomas Miller, reporting from The Point.